Good afternoon and welcome back. This is a personal response to a Mr DjelalHassan, who has been arguing with me, ironically underneath an atheism video, but he claims that my entire corpus of works regarding my reading of the Qurans, you know, the 8 different Qurans that I've read, and the 2 online ones, he says they're all completely wrong. In addition to this, he says Sunni, Shia, and basically most of the popularised Muslim cultures across the world, 85 to 90% of the world's Muslims are completely wrong, all their Qurans are wrong, they're all infidels, and he himself is the only person out of all of us who can accurately translate and interpret his Quran. So I challenged him and said, okay, give me a video and a timestamp of one mistake I made across my entire 2.5 years of Quran videos, just one. He couldn't do it. He ran away from the question. Completely ran away. Would not do it. And then he said to me, okay, give me one example in the Quran of where Allah commands Muslims to lie or be deceitful. I straight away said Quran 551. You must not take Christians or Jews as friends or associates. And I said to him, how can you live in non-Muslim countries, claim that you are friendly and peaceful and law-abiding in those countries, and also follow Quran 551. Your deceit will be on show when you answer. And indeed it was. So his claim was that the generous Quran by Usama Dakdok, translated by a guy who is his first language is Arabic, this is wrong. He also claims that the Taj Mosque Quran, which I got, written in plain Arabic, is wrong. And that the Tajweed Quran, based on the Hafiz Quran, is also wrong. So he's thrown out all of the main Quran versions that the majority of the world's Muslims use. And what did he say was in that verse? His only correction was, oh, it doesn't say anything about Christians or Jews. Neither does this one. This one translates it as guardians and protectors, but the point is the same, Mr Hassan. How can you move to Britain, where your guardians and protectors are going to be Christians and Jews, politicians, lawyers, police, job centre staff, most of them are Christians or Jews? How can you say you're not going to take them as guardians or protectors when they are guarding and protecting you and your rights and your law, your lawful rights, and also be following the Quran? For even further clarity, we can look to the tafsirs. Here is the tafsirs, which is written by the most highly sought after and educated Islamic scholars combined from across the Arab nations. It goes even further and says, O you who believe, take not the Christians and Jews as friends, as you see in those whose hearts have a disease of hesitation, hypocrisy and doubt. Well, the answer, as we all know, is you cannot. You cannot follow the Quran and also be following the law of other countries. And then he said, well, I don't trust any of these people. I will translate it myself. So obviously the Grand Mufti, the various imams and calligraphists, plus the heads of state for all the main Muslim countries are all completely wrong. No, Mr Hassan, he's the guy you want. So I said to him, what gives you authority to transcribe the manuscript of the Quran, and which manuscript are you using? Again, he ran away from the question. Didn't want to cite which manuscript he's working from. Didn't want to cite which Quran he's reading. Neither did he want to cite why he has the authority to say all these guys plus Muhammad are wrong. So I think my final thought on this short video is going to be this. I've said it many times, never trust Islam, never trust a Muslim. But the reason that we cannot trust them is because they are ashamed. They know well what they are doing and how absolutely despicable and evil the contents of this book really are, including this one and this one. Even if we look at Quran.com and we go through the various different translations you find on there, each one is effectively saying the same thing. And the thing it is saying is this: Muslims are not to have any dealings with non-Muslims, else they will be treated like an infidel. The only interactions a Muslim is allowed by Allah to have with non-Muslims is a backstabbing action as part of a greater jihad. To take over and destroy our cultures and steal from and murder us, because we do not worship Allah and we never will. But he didn't make the distinction between what Allah and his Quran commands him to do and what Satan and his evil doctrine tries to deceive us into doing. He doesn't make the connection on those two things being the same. So, DjelalHassan, I'm quite happy to carry on our conversations, but I feel like we have gone beyond what a comment stream can really offer us. So if you would like to come up live, I am quite willing to have an extended discussion with you. I'll put a whole day into it, and we can go through the finer points of how you think you have the authority over 80 to 90% of the Muslim world, and also how you feel about failing to cover up the sins of your brothers and preach up your religion, because no matter which Quran you use, that is also commanded by Allah. So if you're not willing to do that, if you're not willing to accept the version of Quran that he has provided you with, if you want a different Quran that is changed, and you are willing to befriend Christians and Jews, you are not a Muslim. Finally, it's worth keeping in mind Surah 9 verse 123. Believers, fight against the unbelievers who live around you, and let them find you in sternness. The actual word is harshness, but it translates it here as sternness. Know that Allah is the God-fearing. And whenever a new surah is revealed, some of the hypocrites ask the believers, whose faith has increased because of this? As for those who do believe, it will certainly increase their faith, and they are joyful over that. So there you have it. Mr Hassan is either lying, ignorant, or both. Either way, he is not the person you will be listening to about Islamic truth. He is hiding his shame, lying, and deceiving us as per his instruction in the jihad against us Westerners. You might think you are, you might call yourself one, but Allah doesn't accept you. So, I will finish on this note. If you believe that what you are doing is Islam when the rest of the world is wrong, I posit that you are not a Muslim. You're actually a good moral person who sees how evil and corrupt the writings of the Quran have made humanity. But if that is not the case, I would posit that you are a jihadi, lying, deceiving your brothers, exactly like I said you would in my comments, and the proof is your comments. So have a think about that. Do you wish to continually serve a demon who enforces your blindness, controls you, and causes you to lie to your brothers? Or do you think that God maybe has a different plan for you and your life, and would put your talents to work in a righteous way for the greater good? Answers on a postcard. That's all for now. Hope you enjoyed that and you learnt something. God bless you all, and I'll see you lovely people in the next one. Bye now. So, we wrap up. Final thoughts. Never trust Islam. Never trust a Muslim, not because of what any Westerner says or does, but because of what their God and their Quran commands them to do, lest they be as bad as us. God bless you all. Have a lovely day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.